passed Tanzania and Kenya in second and third positions, respectively. Burundi was ranked fourth as Rwanda continues to record the best record in fighting corruption. Uganda registered the highest bribery levels with a percentage value of 40.7%, while Tanzania had 39.1%, Kenya 29.5%. Burundi registered a lower index of 18.8%. While discussing the findings, anti-corruption experts attributed the problem in Uganda mainly to inadequate political will to fight corruption, coupled with low salaries for civil servants. This report is one of several that have been published, indicating how the cancer of corruption is destroying all efforts to transform Uganda, with the World Bank saying that $500 billion Uganda shillings is lost annually through official corruption, and because of weaknesses in the law, none of this can be recovered. A recent scandal at the office of the Prime Minister, the Chogam and the compensation scandals are still fresh in many minds. Some people allege that stolen funds are shared among top government officials and some proceeds used to fund the ruling party. Uganda has several anti-graft agencies in place, including the Inspectorate of Government, the Directorate of Public Prosecutions, the police and the judiciary. But according to many, these agencies are not independent and often take direct orders from powers that be to protect the corrupt. So tonight we ask, why is corruption persisting in Uganda, yet the country has all the required laws and agencies to deal with this matter? Where are the weaknesses and how should they be dealt with? Our guests tonight, Honorable Yona Kanyomozi, veteran UPC politician and former Ugandan representative in the East African Legislative Assembly. You're most welcome, Honorable Kanyomozi.
Good evening, listeners, and I'm pleased to be here.
We're also
pleased to be here to share with you the views and the worries that we have as a nation.
Well, we expect to be joined by Hon Henry Banyenzaki, State Minister in charge of Economic Monitoring, also Member of Parliament for Rubanda West. He's on his way to the studio. Honorable Kanyomozi, in your view, how bad is corruption in Uganda?
I think it is extremely bad because we have persistently been number one. I mean, number one in being bad. So you can see even this report is putting us at nearly 41%, compared with Rwanda, which is at nearly 3%. We are in a bad state. And Tanzania, even Burundi, and people might say we have had difficulties in the past, wars and what have you. Burundi has had wars, Rwanda has had wars, but their level of corruption is a bit better than ours. The reason, as given in the report, is there is no political will. Two, the thing starts on the people who take the decisions and seeps down. And then, of course, there is inadequate salaries and lack of provision of service and goods and services to the population. People have either to buy their way to get the services that they are entitled to, or be squeezed or neglected. With those in place, it becomes very difficult. And while they see the corruption is not only in taking money and what have you, the corruption is also in decision making. How do you handle people? Who gets promotion? Who goes where? Who is in which service? Look at the predominance of a certain group of people while others are not there. How are you distributing the things that government is normally supposed to do? If government abdicates its responsibility, then what happens? I don't want to use the expression that so many politicians here and public people, the fish rots from the top.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It rots from the head?
From the head. When the head goes, the rest of the... And even in human beings, if your head is gone, the next of the body it becomes vegetable. So the problem is on top, lack of will, abdication of responsibilities of government, lower salary structures, and people seeing that other people are getting what they shouldn't get or they shouldn't get legally, they also imitate. Because you can't imagine a situation where people move billions of shillings from a ministry through a central bank to their own accounts. It's impossible to imagine. And yet there are people there. They are the political heads, they are the bureaucrats in charge, but this thing still happens. When it happens, then what do you do? The enforcement agencies, as you read them, they are there. But when one considers if the police is the most corrupt, then who is going to stop the thieves? If the other institutions are in that also in that manner, then who will stop? The thing will go on magnifying and magnifying. And as things get magnified and magnified, the problem becomes worse. Those who are in political position, I'm President Henry Banyenzaki is coming in. Those who are the politicians, when they start shouting, they are given jobs and they keep quiet. So you have the examples. He was one of those firebrands.
I'm still.
He has now retreated to the campus of good time. That is part of the problem, because they can't be anything else. The top has got to have the will to stop corruption. We have had half of our independence period under one government, so there has been continuity. You can't say it's the disruption. No. We have had continuity for 26 years, and with one single man on top. And a single party, first as a single political party. Although people may say it wasn't a political party, it was a movement. But so
it's the same political structure.
It is still a political party. Ferimo, the MPLA, all these are with the word movement, it doesn't matter. I don't want to go in semantics. The real issue is political will and doing things people shouldn't do, and abdicating the responsibilities to the nation as government or those holding responsibility.
Well, listeners, this is Spectrum on Radio 1. Tonight, why is corruption persisting in Uganda? Yet the country has the necessary laws and anti-corruption agencies. Where are the weaknesses and how can they be eliminated? Our guests, Honorable Yona Kanyomozi, veteran UPC politician and former Ugandan representative in the East African Legislative Assembly. We've just heard him speak. We've just been joined by our second guest, Honorable Henry Banyenzaki, State Minister in charge of Economic Monitoring, also Rubanda West Mp. You're most welcome, Honorable Banyenzaki.
Thank you. How are you, brother?
We're fine, thank you.
How are you, Yona?
I'm okay.
Good.
Yes.
Nice meeting you.
Nice
The old man who doesn't age is remarkable.
His body feeding.
Well, Honorable Banyenzaki, how bad in your view is corruption in this country?
Yeah, the issue of corruption in this country, definitely, the picture is not good, because we are being held back by the corrupt in order not to give the services that the people of Uganda deserve. And because of this kind of corruption that have persisted, despite of the fact that we have created institutions to deal with this kind of corrupt tendencies and the corrupt individuals themselves, and so the situation is not good, but not that very bad that we have reached a point where, because when it becomes so corrupt, then you reach a point that where the state, there is a collapse of the state has collapsed and there are no services being given at all. You remember, like there was those days where you could not even put on a watch. Let's say when you are in a safari. Those days where you could even, a soldier looks at your shirt and say, remove it. You are in a car, they just say, get out, and he takes your car just like that, impunity. So, what has been pertaining as of now, and one of the problems I see now, when we have been fighting corruption, and I'm very glad that my friend Yona Kanyomozi appreciates my firebrandness. He's branding me as a firebrand.
Astfire.
And I think now I'm still
retired.
No, Yona. You know how these things, when you go to cabinet, how they operate. That's the unfortunate part of it. Ugandans will not come. We may not know what actually my role I'm playing within the cabinet, because our issues never go out there. but I still fight corruption, and a lot of investigations are going on. And so the issue is that when we have been fighting this corruption,
you made it clear. You said it's not that bad, so we should not get.
No, it's not. It's not good. It's not. I'm not saying it's not. We need to be alarmed so that we fight it. The moment you get a thief within your home, you get alarmed. Of course, we have to be alarmed and fight these thieves that have surrounded us. So I shouldn't say that we shouldn't get alarmed. We should. Because the moment you have those kind of wrong characters within your homes and families within our country, then we should. So I was telling you that we had, especially like Parliament, which is the oversight, which is the institution to play the oversight role. Number one, we have been trying to concentrate on politicians, ministers. And least we forgot that the actual people who do the implementation, who do the implementation of government programs are technical people. So we got duped. We did 100 politicians, and we have been, like you have seen, some ministers have resigned, some ministers are being tried, and we did not focus on these real technical people who do the implementation and have been doing all this kind of robbery, I may say. So we are having the discovery which is so far glaring. You have people who have amassed, who have primitively accumulated wealth, but they cannot account for it. And one of the other problem again, much as we, my elder brother Yona Kanyomozi is talking about the NRM, which has been since 1986, longer. Yes, agreed.
All governments combined.
I agree with you. It has been concentrating on building the rule of law. And this is where people have taken advantage of. And this is where you're having some people, you find the Kazindas of this world. He goes in and the next day he's out on bail. He's using the rule of law, the laws that have been put in place by the government. He takes advantage of the government of the day that has instituted the rule of law, and they take advantage of that to manipulate the system using the law. So as of now, the biggest problem that we are facing, as government is fighting corruption and fighting the corrupt, but the corrupt using the law and using technicalities to defeat you. Yeah, but to the extent that even when you get these technical people, you get them, like for example, the kind of laws that we have brought up now, you find that the technical people are so entrenched, the law entrenches them in the system that you cannot do away with him even when you get him red-handed. You have to use the law, then they challenge you. And what I'm talking about, Yona knows. And actually what I want to tell you, during Yona's time when Yona was a minister, and he finds you when you are corrupt. I think Yona was the minister of cooperatives. Yes, at that time, he found a cooperator who is corrupt. Yona would chase you there and then finito. I saw it, I witnessed it. But me now, I find a doctor who have stolen drugs in a hospital. You have to go through that system. I find somebody who have done a shoddy work. I cannot say stop. I cannot tell this doctor. I say I cannot tell. I can't tell. I find a teacher with good teachers, a headmaster with good teachers in the school. I cannot say you. I have fired you. During the days of Yona Kanyomozi, this business of rule I'm talking about was not there. And this is where we have been defeated. Absolutely. No. And another thing, let me tell you, in fighting this corruption, again we have been concentrating on the politicians. Forget the technical people. And now what has happened now, the private sector has also now entrenched yesterday I went to witness somebody
manufacturing oils in
who is buying this used oil we get on when you go to service our cars. He has drums and drums of used oil, and then he uses mosquito nets to sieve that oil so that impurities get out, and then he buy this oil of ours, we cooking oil, mixes it with this kind of engine oil, and then when you look at it you think it's good oil, and then he packs it using these packagings which are of this high quality oil, and this is the kind of oil we have been, and he has been doing it over a period of years. He has years in the midst of buildings, residential buildings. LCs are there, the community are watching the man doing all that, and nobody is raising.
Well, but the police say, the LC say, the LCD for Defense yesterday said on television that when they take them to police station, they are released at full speed, very swiftly.
One time, this is a true story.
Yes.
One time, we were with a person who had murdered his wife. A politician had murdered his wife.
Yes.
We were going to meet the president. And when we were going to meet the president said, "I thought you were in jail." The man had the courage to tell the president that, "Your Excellency, the good rose you brought in this country are the one which got me out." So what that LC1 was telling you is what precisely I'm telling you. People are using the existing legal framework, the existing loopholes that we have. You go there, he gets a bail immediately.
Right.
Because had got a bail.
Okay. But do you have a political do you have the political right to fight corruption?
Absolutely.
No, I don't. I think
Absolutely.
But people
are trying to do just using the technicalities and the existing law.
I think
what we need to do now,
problem.
and where we let me say this so that Yona, you substantiate. They you remember the president was so frustrated and was coming up and said that we deny bail those.
Well, he was keener on the rioters.
Yes. No, okay, fine. Let's these rioters aside, let's not mix these issues. But one of the other issues that we had put in was the corrupt. You get the corrupt and deny them bail.
Well, that seems like a next
one can say that, and I don't want to have to go deeper into that so that we divert the whole argument to go into that direction. But if we politicians were and I think we need to, because
do you agree that it's
the countries that have managed to fight this kind of corruption, they find the countries that where you cannot talk of this corruption, like China.
They use strong,
you don't talk about this. They use strong arms. Something you go to Rwanda.
I take that argument.
I don't fully take that argument. Let me say because
at least 70% of it you take.
No. Because it's the supervisory role of government and the direction role. You are talking about bail and bail. There was a case, Edmond. There was a case where somebody was known to have taken something as corrupt, and the highest office in the land said, "I have forgiven him."
Maybe he repented.
Which one was that?
Repenting.
Salim Saleh, the helicopter.
Yes. Repenting. And if a lower person sees this is big money, and you are let off, why doesn't he also try and do the same? But let's not look at that. The investigative wing and the provisions of the things in the acts that we have actually have enough on to do most of the things that we need done. The problem is the people who are supposed to do it. On that one I agree. But it isn't only the experts, the technicians only, even the political ones.
Let me
finish.
Let me support you on that.
Yes, they don't also do the work they are supposed to do.
Simba Katawa, I support you on that.
Yes.
Actually, what is happening as of now, it is a syndicate.
Yes.
And I say this
Explain
without using word.
How high does it go?
So the kind of what we are talking about, the kind of syndicate we are talking about now, the corrupt have entrenched with our systems so much that you find everywhere there is somebody.
They are cartels.
If it is in police, they have a protection unit. Protect them. Okay? If you go to court, they have their own people who will protect them. If you so in evidence institution, you find it is a syndicate.
It is not limited now to the technicians. It goes to the politicians also.
Including the yes, absolutely.
So once you have
if you have Yona, absolutely, I agree with you. Even you find it within our parliament, there are some people who are in parliament just because they have come using corrupt tendencies.
So how do you break
they have their mafias to protect them. This one we have.
Someone in government says there's a problem, but they seem to be, as though they have.
No, this one, Yona, let me confirm my statement. This one we have to fight on head on.
How do you fight it?
How do you fight it when
we have to have the resolve?
Do we have that resolve?
To fight it.
Let's begin.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have to resolve. Let's some of us who are resolved. Let's not find excuses.
Let me say this also. For example, Inspectorate of Government. There is an Inspectorate of Government, a dignified thing.
Yes.
With a law prepared by Parliament. Losing cases they shouldn't be losing.
How do you explain that?
Because they don't do detailed investigation. The detailed investigation expect them to do certain things. They don't do them.
Why don't they?
And what? I don't know.
Okay, let's go for a break. We'll be back. This is Spectrum Radio.
The kind of thing he's talking about.
Climb to the top of a monument and look over the history of a country. Count flags from over 100 countries, all in one city. Catch up with your friends and family. Explore a city that welcomes the world on an airline that does the same. Fly to Washington, D.C. daily via Dubai, starting 12th September. For more information, contact your local travel agent or Emirates on 417-710-444 or visit emirates.com/UG. Fly Emirates. Hello tomorrow.
With ShopRite's lowest prices, you will get great savings on the widest range of back-to-school supplies like 2 dozen 48-page Pickfair A5 exercise books at 6,400 shillings only, 5-pack blue or black nice clear pens at 1,350 shillings only, and a dozen red and black Pickfair pencils at 1,000 shillings only. Offer valid until 9th September 2012. ShopRite, lower prices you can trust, always.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the battle of the funniest. Representing Uganda, Patrick Salvador.
When I stepped in Uganda, I can't believe I got so excited.
Africa's battle for the funniest. Theatre level meter. Friday the 31st of August, 30,000 silver, 50,000 gold. It's the Battle of Migingo Island, hosted by Abe Muchiri and Patrico Muyuka. Proudly brought to you by
Club. Tastefully different.
Not for sale to persons under 18.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90.
Welcome back on Spectrum tonight. Why is corruption persisting in Uganda, yet the country has the necessary laws and anti-corruption agencies? Where are the weaknesses and how can they be eliminated? Our guests tonight, Hon Henry Banyenzaki, former firebrand, now State Minister in charge of Economic Monitoring.
Repeat that thing.
Also Rubanda West MP, Richard Firebrand. Also Yona Kanyomozi, veteran new busy politician and former Ugandan representative in the East African Legislative Assembly. You will be able to call in and contribute to this discussion. Honorable Kanyomozi, how do you explain for us the dynamics? We have a lot of institutions to fight corruption.
Yes.
Some of them have officers that are well paid. The IGG is fully constituted. Yeah. Why do we see corruption persisting?
But there's one point which Kanyomozi had said, and I wanted to make a rejoinder. When Honorable Yona Kanyomozi says we have the IGG, we have the institution, the investigative mechanism. And this brings to the other point I had brought you. Because you see, if we are fighting the corruption with these institutions, and we are talking that they have agents, even they have penetrated the systems, that you find that they have agents within the systems.
Yes.
That's why, for example, you find that we may have, like, for example, the Attorney General Chambers, or the IGG, for example. You have the the state attorneys, lawyers of government, who at the end of the day connive with the people you are choosing again. So the system, the issue is, and what I appreciate is that we, as government, we recognize that we have a problem.
Why don't you do something?
We recognize that there is a problem.
They should take the law in their hands.
The government.
The governments.
How should they do it? Execute them at Queen's Tower.
No. There is a minister responsible for something.
Thank you.
He has powers and he has influence in cabinet. He has access to a president. The president has powers to summon anybody in that government through his ministers to do something that is required. But if the ministers see that there is laxity at top, or the junior minister sees that the cabinet minister, who is his supervisor, is in that state that Honorable Banyenzaki has
say Henry, Yona, I don't mind.
It becomes very difficult then to supervise the civil servant, because he sees that there are these openings here and there where they can pass.
So let's try to look at
yes. So you have a case.
Yes.
Where I don't want to, which IGG is investigating. He has not done a thorough job of that case. He has left loopholes because he is influenced by somebody high up.
You're saying the IGG won't be influenced to make sure the investigations,
despite the provisions of the law, which gives him extremely.
You think the IGG's office is weak, has been infiltrated by corruption itself?
The minister has already told you that.
There are some wrong elements
in the IGG's office.
These wrong elements are everywhere.
So they
have to deal with them squarely.
What happens then now?
You see the point?
Is that institution, by losing cases after cases, the general population loses confidence.
How do we get out of that cul-de-sac?
They were. I have suggested in the break that we need to change.
You see,
change the system.
What system?
Political.
At what level?
At all levels.
Right from the LC1?
Yes.
Should have LC1 elections urgent?
Yes.
To end corruption?
Yes. Because that's where it starts also.
You know what we need to do?
It seeps through. Because if a person knows that Edmond Kizito can go, and Banyenzaki can go, and Kanyomozi can go, then they will be more careful than what they are showing. Because what happens at the moment is you go and a man has shown that he is not capable of doing anything. He has a godfather who says, but this is my man, or this is my woman. Then nothing happens. A person has performed dismally, and then he's recycled in another position. These are the things that make everybody lose hope and say, well, if I'm going to survive, I may either join them,
become a rat, eat the groundnuts.
So,
do you think corruption funds the political party? Before we come, do you think the corruption funds the political party, the ruling party? Do you think the party benefits campaign funds?
Of course.
Really?
Yes. Let me give you an example. I'm not going to be so direct though. Let me give you an example. You know, these things being given up left, right, and center.
What things? Districts?
Districts, markets.
What's wrong with districts?
Do you have the money to find them? But that's
no. If we work very hard and when we
had no
we have enough
communications,
money.
When we had no communication,
you are going to give me enough time.
Yes, sir.
You won't take too much time. When we had no communication, no telephones, no roads, no nothing, no radios, no TVs. A single man, a district commissioner, would look at an area like Masaka.
Without mobile phones and roads.
Now we have mobile phone, we have roads, we have radios, we have the internet. Then you say you are taking service to the people, but you are not taking service. You are taking expenses to the people. You are spreading corruption.
I hope you are going to give me similar air.
Yes, sir.
Please go.
This is not we say. Now, Yona, let's be a bit interactive here. When you were in government, how much were you collecting? 1985. How much were you collecting as taxes?
40, is it 40 billion? 44 billion?
44 billion shillings.
Yeah.
In terms of dollars, how much was that?
That's very little.
Okay. It was very little.
Yeah.
That's what you were collecting in 1985.
Yes.
Now,
you are collecting
20,
trillions.
yes.
Yeah.
We are now collecting
around 7 trillion.
Around 8 trillion. At a time when we are collecting 88 billion shillings at that time. Now we are collecting 8 trillion.
So why do we have drugs?
Now the reason.
Why don't we have drugs?
Wait, Yona, wait.
Yes.
Reason why we are collecting this 8 trillion now. One of the reason is because we sealed the loopholes through which government revenue was taken. During his time, he can tell you, he was the Minister of Cooperatives then, but a company like Coffee, it was called Coffee Marketing Board. All the money of Coffee Marketing Board was going on a personal account of somebody.
No.
It cannot happen now.
No.
Okay? That is the truth. You know.
169 billion went to one man.
This is the point.
169 billion went to one man.
Let's do the payrolls.
Yes.
Okay. If there's a person who took 169 billion
only,
has he taken this money with impunity? This case had to take two ministers resigned.
The money stayed in the man's pocket.
Wait a minute. The court now is facing court proceedings now. At that time, would any person face any process like that? And wait a minute. And that shows Yona, wait a minute. You see the point? But at that time, would you talk about that? Would you talk about that such a kind of person who was taking the money of Coffee Marketing Board, banking it on his personal account, could even point a finger on him? Could you point a finger on the minister who was in charge of that? But now we make ministers resign. We make the person who have taken that money
because they are
the person. Why we are collecting this money now is because we have seed.
It is not
okay. We have seed some loopholes.
Number two is that we have the machinery of this modern technology, which has helped. Then you had to do everything by hand. Now you have the machinery to do so.
Then people are stealing with impunity.
No, they were not.
What was that man who was stealing that money for Coffee Marketing? You didn't know him. You were in charge of cooperatives.
Who?
You didn't know him.
Going to find out how the money and how coffee was sold. Did he take any single thing?
No. And you are the minister in charge at that time. And he was stealing money with
No. If he was stealing money, he may have been stealing money.
Let's go to
the Ministry of Defense or in the army.
Not
Coffee Market.
Let's go to
because coffee was getting 96% of our foreign exchange, and we sold coffee, not like you. They're doing.
And you are getting 44 billion shillings.
And yes.
And we are getting 8 trillion. And you compare now. It's not comparable.
How many years is that?
It was the same land we have now.
How much are you getting out of coffee now?
We have
60%.
We have diversified the economy. We have even more.
Yes.
We have more.
But how much are they getting from coffee now?
We don't need money to get from coffee only.
We were getting that.
You have diversified the economy.
A ton was about $7,000 during a
and yours was a share. Your economy. You are only looking at coffee. We are looking at coffee. We are looking at fish. We are looking at fish.
You have been in power for 26 years.
Because you
have not built a single hospital. You have not built a new school except for fundraising. You have not done a road except for donor money.
How many schools do you build? The 10 hospitals you build are the ones you are still singing in now. In every constituency we have a health center for a hospital.
A hospital.
And we have
which has no drugs.
We have 213 hospitals.
Which has no drugs.
Let's go to corruption things.
Are falling down.
Let's go
where there is no mattress. Where a woman coming to give birth has got to be asked to bring a razor. You know the whole of you used to campaign like that. You know the whole of what I'm saying.
No, the whole of Kabali. You see the point? Yeah? No, it's not about eating. It's not about these facts. People Kabari had Kisoro district. It had Kanung. It had I think then it has Kabari itself. It had Kanungu. We had and all that. It only had one hospital.
You only changed the names. Those which were hospitals are now called referral hospitals. Those which were clinics are now called hospitals.
But you should put 22 hospitals, and now we are talking about that we have not built the hospitals.
Where have you built the hospital?
I said we have 213 health center force, which were equivalent to the hospital then.
We are just small tiny
schools. We are talking about schools now. You look at the schools that we have, the UPE, University Secondary School. Look at how many universities we have now.
All right.
Only one university.
How many government universities?
We are now talking how many universities do we have?
22, I think.
22 universities.
They're more than technical. More than technical.
You don't need.
It is like saying because actually we don't need national housing corporation because people
are building their own house.
Let's go back to corruption. That's what corruption we are talking about now. Because we are correcting, because our budget have even gone to 10 trillion.
Yes.
To that level. You see the point?
10 trillion. What has it done?
And
even the president has got to get the Chinese to build him an office.
And he's refused to sit in it. Let's hear from you listeners. This is Spectrum on Radio 1 tonight. Why is corruption persisting in Uganda? Yet the country has the necessary laws and anti-corruption agencies. How can they be limited? Our numbers 0414-348-111, 0312-260-390, 0312-261-390. Spectrum alert. Yes. Spectrum alert. Please switch off your radio. We can't talk to you if it's speaking back. Spectrum alert.
Good evening.
Good evening. Your name?
My name is Arthur.
Henry. Arthur, yes.
Thanks for bringing on those gentlemen.
So the mother should maybe put the child down before they begin to steal. Spectrum, hello? Hello? Good evening, sir. Your name?
My name is
Mr. Owere. All right, Spectrum, hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir, your name?
Yes, this is James from Nansana.
James. Spectrum, hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, your name?
Richard from Jericho. Thanks for...
Spectrum, hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir, your name?
Rwanda.
Yes.
This should be feasible.
Spectrum, hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, your name? Your name again? Shem, okay, we'll call you Shem. Go on. Alright, so hello, final caller, Spectrum, hello. Okay, let's get back to... Okay, final caller. Yes, sir, your name? Okay, when you call in, it's better you switch off your radio, then we can hear clearly from you. Honorable Banyenzaki.
Yes, thank you very much.
Former firebrand, go on.
Edmond, now I'm...
Go on, sir.
Current. Now, Edmond.
Yes, sir.
I'm a bit uncomfortable by calling me, keep on referring me as a former firebrand. I'm still a firebrand.
Behind closed doors, go on.
Yeah, thank you very much. Say a firebrand now behind closed doors, and I'm doing a good job there. Now, Edmond and the chorus, I'm very happy the chorus are insisting on the giving, asking what the way forward. And actually, this is where the focus, we should put our focus to fight this kind of corruption in our generation. We appreciate, and we, the current generation, the current players, we appreciate the role that the Yona Kanyomozi played, despite of the fact of what I have been referring to. The Yona Kanyomozi, wait, Yona, you did your part. Actually, even when you have been trying, even up to now, you are actually trying to help us. But the onus is on us, the current generation, to fight this vice. We are talking about NRM, which came in power 26
almost
years.
one generation ago.
You see the point? For heaven's sake, why should we use an excuse now to look at a man who liberated this country 26 years back, and you are still looking at the same man. That why are you not fighting corruption? Me, I was 18 years of age now. Then I was still a minor. I was just graduating into an adult. Now I'm of age. Why should we, guys of our age now, 30s, in our 30s, in our prime age, we are still looking at those men? Wait a minute, brother. We are still looking at those men, and we are the ones, those who liberated. Then we are still the ones who are saying we are not fighting corruption. What are we doing? What is me, Banyenzaki, you, Edmond? What are we? It is our time to fight this corruption squarely. It is our time now. And I want to tell you, Yona, get out of steering wheel. Go in the rear, give the opportunity to your daughter and your son to do this kind of vice.
What are you saying, Honorable Banyenzaki?
We are going to do it.
And you saying your colleagues.
So what we need to fight this corruption.
So you are
together. We are support corruption together. We are supposed to fight corruption together. The population. For heaven's sake, we are talking about NADS. These are National Advisory Agricultural Services which are being offered at the grassroots level. At the grassroots level, you are given a wrong item, you accept, or you are given nothing. They say they recycle what you have been given. You are just irrigating all the evils of corruption at the grassroots level. We need to fight it at that, and that's why I agree with James from Nansana, who said that we should begin at the fifth time we are talking about is in the hands of the people. It's going to be people. And when I talk about this Ghana experience, the reference is made to Jerry Rawlings, the reference being made to quality services, I agree. You agree? This is something that we should go.
Is he Uganda, the youth wing from Eastern?
The young man wants a fifth term.
No, he says that kind of thing. And when I think about this, the total action on the corrupt, strengthening the institution fighting corruption,
we have to go.
I agree. This is where we need to go. And the electorate, even we are talking about, the electorate should fight at the grassroots level. This business of you find that at that level the corrupt are being glorified and voted back to elections.
Now let me
shame the corrupt.
Let me start with the problem with the way we have handled things is that we have been having experimentation, including NADS. Their experiments, we haven't thought them through. You can imagine we had Bonabagagawale, Entandikwa, what was the other one?
The platform of agriculture.
Yes, we had the one of Salim Saleh was doing the circles.
We are still doing them.
The example, the experiments are too many. We had even barter trade.
Yes.
In this modern age, and we tried.
Yugoslavia, Tanzania, it was sabotaged in some places.
You don't think through a policy and see it through implementation. That's what those
programs we are talking about, and you are right. The programs which have brought us from 34 billion to 10 trillion.
Two. The last Shem was the one who talked about the IGG. The IGG shouldn't, the new IGG, and I respect the should not be bogged down like his predecessor with cases which are semi-political.
All right, we have to go.
Yeah, she needs to get out of that.
Right.
Because she ends up now fighting political wars on behalf of other people. For example, she has just come in and identified the so-called rebels. She wants to investigate them. I think she could do better by cleaning that office and moving on.
Thank you very much, indeed, our dear guest, Honorable Henry Banyenzaki, State Minister in charge of economic monitoring, also Member of Parliament for Rubanda West, right now a firebrand behind closed doors. Thank you for coming to Spectrum tonight, sir. Honorable Kanyomozi, veteran UPC politician and former Ugandan representative in the East African Legislative Assembly. Thank you for tuning in. I've been your host, Edmond. Kizito. Spectrum will be back tomorrow. Up next is the news in English.
Hello, mommy. I need nice shoes, a chocolate bar, a toy phone. Yes.
Don't worry, sweetie.